Welcome back to our video series from Tim Justice. In fact, it's been a little bit since I've done a video, but I wanted to take an opportunity and answer one of our best members' questions. Paul Seward, who's been with us since the beginning of TackleTrading.com, one of our first pro members. He sent me a question in email on how to do a regular stop loss on an option trade inside Thinkorswim. And I thought I'd take a few minutes and do a quick video for Paul, and hopefully the community can learn from that as well. Let's first take a couple of seconds here and talk about Thinkorswim in general. You know, it's a platform that can feel intimidating when you're new to it, and you got to learn the tricks. There's no doubt about it. My recommendation, number one, is go back and watch the way the coaches use it, because the way Gino and Noah and Matt and myself, we use Thinkorswim probably in a much different way than, say, the average trader. So you're going to get a lot of tips just watching the videos, whether they're Forex videos or option videos or coaches shows. You'll get a lot of value from that. And then what we'll try to do is we'll try to add specific types of instruction. For example, I want to do some things on the scan tab, show you how to use that, talk a little bit about the charts, how to add settings, what all of the settings are. We're going to go into the option chain. You know, one thing we're committed to here at Tackle Trading is to provide you guys answers to your questions and solutions to your problems. That's why we created this community to begin with. So let's get into Paul's question. Could you refresh my memory on how to do a regular stop? Well, let's find a trade. You know, I'm here in my virtual account at Thinkorswim. Usually trades go into the margin tab. I reset it recently. Let's just take any old stock. In fact, probably doesn't matter. Let's look at, say, Apple Computer, one of my favorites to trade. And let's say that a trader has a put option on just for the purpose of our exercise based on that downward channel. Red candle kind of spinning top there at the top of that channel. Maybe it'll bump down through the rest of the next week. We'll see. And by the way, it's Friday, January 9th, just for a timestamp on that. So if I simulate a call option and I come out here to the, I'd say April, that's a 98 day. See this number in parentheses right here? That tells you how many days are left until that expiration. A stock like Apple, which is a major stock, S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, all over the place. Everybody knows that everybody trades it. Trade 53 million shares today, right? I mean, they have chains like crazy. So you can't just count them down. You can't say, I'm always going to do the fourth one in the list. Not with Apple. Because you have to look at the weeklies, the minis, the regular options, whether they're 14, 21, 42. We'll teach you how to read these chains. But one good tip is to look at the number in parentheses and apply a day rule for your strategies. So let's say I wanted to play the 98-day option. Let's put on the in the money 54 delta put option right there. Now we'll do, for simplicity, we'll do one contract. I'm going to send that through. Now it is after the market bell. I'm going to come back over here to the monitor tab. There's a trick you can do inside the paper money at Thinkorswim. You can just adjust your position and pretend like you got in. It's just paper. You obviously can't do that in live, but when you're practicing, if you want to just get a trade on your book so you can work with the orders and stuff, you can do that little trick right there. Now, to add a stop loss, several ways to do this. Now you'll notice I didn't add the stop loss at the original order. That's an advanced order entry. You should learn how to do those. But if you're new, and let me be very clear at this, there's nothing wrong with getting into your trade and then putting on your stop loss after you get filled. Sometimes new traders make it way too complicated by trying to do like first triggers, OCOs before they really know how to do them. You know, yeah, I mean, if you can hit, you know, a draw shot down the left side of the fairway and then hook it behind the trees, do it. But if you're just trying to stand there and get balanced and hit the ball straight, you know, you got to take it one step at a time. So here we are in our put trade. Now, let's say we use just a standard percentage rule. You know, that'll drive me nuts. Why don't we do a risk graph rule? So let's say that I am willing to take risk up to resistance at 115-ish, okay? This would be my resistance. And I'm going to bring Mock Trader over here for a minute, which I do like the charting at Mock Trader to show you what I'm looking at from a chart standpoint. 115 is resistance here, so if it rallies, breaks 115, triggers us out, that's where we'd want to be out of the trade. Now to set a stop, I'm going to start with a simple mechanic. Okay, if I go to the risk profile, make sure everything's clean down here, and I type in 115 in this line right here, it will tell me how much money I'll lose at that strike. Now there's some advanced stuff that I need to also calculate, but I'm going to leave that out of this video, one step at a time. So this is telling me I'm going to lose 150. Okay, if I know what my trade price was, which I can add the column in here, or I know that I paid $8.80, it's right here in front of me, I then right click, create a closing order, sell this back, subtract 150 from 880, that puts me at 730. Stop, change it to stop, change it to good till canceled. Now this is a beginner's approach. I want to talk about what we did. So we found a stock that we thought was going down, right? Agree or disagree? I might actually disagree myself, but we used it for our example. Okay, and then we decided that at resistance we want our stop loss. So then we use the risk graph tool to calculate that from our entry of 880, our risk was 150, so that puts our stop at 730. Okay, then really all it comes down to from there is clicking the buttons to get you to this window. I'm going to do this one more time just for a review. Okay, chart, I identified my risk right up here. Analyze. I plugged in my risk and found how much money it's showing me that I would be losing at that risk. Monitor, locate my strike, create a closing order, sell it back. Now the default comes in at limit and day. You have to change those. Stop, good till canceled, and then we put in the number we identified at 730. Now if you do use this mechanic, I would label this the risk graph mechanic. You have to learn to use the risk graphs, obviously, and it's a little bit more advanced than, say, using a percentage that they teach to some beginners. Either one can work. You know, comprehension and knowledge, there's nothing wrong with having different ways of doing stuff as long as you understand why you're doing it the way you're doing it. I wanted a specific trigger on where we would be getting out, and you'll notice the expected price is about right at 115. Okay, confirm and send. And there's my basic stop loss at Thinkorswim. Now, here at Tackle Trading, you know, we're committed to putting up content regularly for you. If you have questions, please hit us up on Twitter. Here are the coaches, Coach Matt, Coach Noah, Coach Gino, and Coach Tim. You know, the Twitter handles are right here. If you're not on Twitter, you should learn to do that. We're also on Facebook. But the most important social area to get to know is the Clubhouse, and I'll tell you why. Is in the Clubhouse, when we put on, like I put up a mailbag post here today, and I wrote a section on the Options 101. You know, in the Clubhouse, you can locate what's going on. You can even come in here and see what your community members are doing. You know, Troy, he posted an update. He's asking questions about ROID, which we talked about in the coaches show. Greg is asking questions. You know, this is a great, and Noah, this is my favorite here. He found a chart that he drew out and made it look like Batman. Now, I think that's just real creative, Noah. See, it's a lot of fun over there in that Clubhouse. That's where we hang out. So come and join us. You know, we look forward to having you, and we'll see you next time in one of the video series of where I answer your questions. Thanks a lot.